government every day. You see, I obey the government every day. The question is when the government will obey me. I obey the government every day. I obey because it's a wonder war and the constant deception, the lies in the media. We're no children anymore. Because I don't want government every day. You see, I obey the government every day. The question is when the government will obey me. I obey the government every day. I obey because it's a wonder war and the constant deception. The lies in the media, we're no children anymore.
And we're back in NUMENERA. Last session was an exciting one that saw Gale infected by a Nagaina defender. I'm joined here tonight with Max, playing Leon.
Hey, what's up?
Robin, playing Eumelia.
Hello.
James, playing Nobody.
How's it going?
And also with Gale of the Wild.
Hello.
I have posted in the OBS server a quick recap, but if one player wants to just remind us of what happened.
I'm gonna pass as I'm adjusting cameras. I appreciate everybody's moment as I get everything fixed. I nominate
James.
to talk.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's see. I was thrown down a hole. There are snakes and vines and corpses all over the place, along with some sort of eggs growing them. And thankfully, Austin came to my rescue, not of his own accord. And now we are looking at all of us being down in the hole. And we are looking at a cave entrance, I believe, on the far side of the room. And we are trying to figure out what to do from here. Luckily, everybody came to my rescue.
Can we get somebody to talk about what happened that wasn't talking about just themselves?
I was getting into character.
I can't tell
Fair
the
enough.
difference between your character and you. Oh, we lost somebody.
All right. So just managed to open the trap door. They tried first with a crowbar, which then snapped. They then tried with a glaive, and the tip managed to get loose, and with the force provided by both Gale and Nobody, was flung into a bookcase. In withdrawing the glaive from the bookcase, a couple books came with it, revealing a hidden panel with a couple of buttons. Leon deducted that these buttons, when pressed in the right order, would open the trapdoor. He remembered seeing the symbols on a book earlier, picked up the book, and tried flipping through the pages. As he was doing that, however, Nobody and Amelia saw the symbols on the spine of the book and giggled as they pointed them out. Nobody then looked down into the hole as soon as Leon punched in the code. And as Leon and Amelia left the room to find some way to get down, Nobody slipped, fell, and, entered the room. Gale tried to lower a rope to lift Nobody out, and in doing so, lost his footing, and Gale went tumbling down as well. Seeing all of the egg-like structures around, seeing that they were filled with what's best described as a decomposing body, he grabbed a single egg to try and haul it up as proof of what's going on. And in doing so, a Nagaina Defender, a small egg-like creature, it's about 2 feet long and covered in tiny cilia, managed to break out of that egg and attack Gale. Nobody tried to fend the Nagaina Defender off of Gale, and Melia jumped down and similarly attempted to attack the Nagaina Defender, while Leon, hearing the cries from the room above, decided to chuck books down. The Nagaina Defender did find purchase on Gale's spine and embedded itself into his body. While it did happen to restore all of Gale's health, Leon made the discovery that in 28 weeks, the Nagaina Defender would eventually consume Gale. And that a Nagaina Defender, a Nagaina Matron, was the only way to extract the Defender without Gale perishing in the process. As they looked around the room, they did manage to find a small stone door built into one of the edges along the southern wall, and they believe that that's the way to the Nagaina Matron. That's where the session ended, and this is where our session begins.
Oh, yeah. And I want to point out that when you first mentioned it, it was 28 days. And then you said, nope, my bad, 28 weeks. But personally, as a player, I decided that I'm going to stick with 28 days because it sounds better. And I never told him.
That is true. I misread my notes. It is 28 weeks, but Leon, deducing 28 weeks, misinformed Gale with 28 days.
Yes.
Perhaps just to put a hop in his step.
You got it.
Sounds good.
I wanted to make sure that we're motivated.
So, like I said, there is a small stone door along the southern wall. It is getting dark outside, and the thin stream of light coming in through the trapdoor above is waning. So it's getting extremely hard to see.
I don't know if I can do light with what knowledge I have. Let me check my character. Unless somebody's got a flashlight or a torch.
Not me.
I have 3 torches and 2 minor glow globes.
She goes first.
Right. Well. All right. Well, I guess she's. If you want to dish those out, share them a little bit.
I
Absolutely.
Yep. Bye.
So as you activate the glow globes, Leon, you're still in the room above, if I remember correctly. There is a rope that's tied to the desk and lower down into the room, which is what Melia used to climb down last session. Spikes. My apologies. And so you can attempt to swing down into the room or just simply jump down is always an option.
I am going to hold on to the ropes and take roughly around 5 minutes to descend down the rope. I'm going to take as much time as I possibly can because that's completely unsafe. There are no knots in it. There is no safety harness. I'm going to die if I fall, so as slow as possible.
Sounds
That's
good.
Up until the point where I'm only inches off the ground and I'm trying to reach the ground with my foot.
All right. I'm going to have you make a speed task at difficulty 1 to get down because you are taking your sweet time. So you have to roll a 3 or higher.
All right, what'd I get? Let's make sure this is.
And you got a 3 on the nose. So if you hadn't taken 5 minutes to get down, you know you would have fallen. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So as Leon takes his sweet time in getting down, and Melia passes out a couple of torches and activates a glow globe, the room is filled with a dazzling brightness, and you can see the door, and beside the door are 3 standing human beings, but they don't appear to be doing anything.
Near the door.
Right near the door. Absolutely.
Are they They're my allies with the glow sticks and stuff? They're just standing there?
They're just standing right at the door. They're not really guarding the door per se. They're not on the lookout. They're just standing next to a pile of eggs.
Pinch myself, make sure I didn't hit my head on or something. Am I alive?
You are alive. Two of them do have clubs, and one of whom does have a large axe from the looks of it.
I'm gonna move behind nobody. Slowly. And then we're gonna point beyond him. Look! Look at them over there! They look dangerous. Go talk to them.
Hello there.
The three men appear to look at you blankly, but don't really respond.
Okay.
Maybe you have to use bigger words. Or smaller ones.
Can you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? I am shouting that out to them as we're trying to light torches and stuff.
The increased volume seems to catch their attention better. The one with the axe turns and looks at you and simply says, "Oi, what are you doing here?"
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
We came down the hole.
Well, don't touch any of the eggs. And don't go through this door.
Alright, when he says the first thing, I turn and look around the room. Don't touch the eggs.
I turn and look to Gale. Don't touch the eggs.
On it. I just say on it.
And Gale, similarly, you're filled with this sense of touching the eggs is extremely bad. And if anyone were to try and touch one, you would feel compelled to stop them.
And none of you guys need to touch the eggs at all. Like, just let's get out of there. Don't mess with those.
I think someone had a little too much of the sauce at lunch.
And the trio just continue to stand there blankly. Now they've noticed you, they're kind of eyeing you up and down. They're watching to make sure that you're not moving towards the eggs. The three of them aren't really concerned with Gale, however. They're just each one of them watching one of you, Melia, Leon, and Nobody.
Can I tell if what happened to Gale earlier has happened to them?
Make an intellect roll.
Okay.
Difficulty 5.
Alright.
I'll be right back.
Oh, 19.
You rolled a 19, which does get you a minor effect on a roll. Just to remind players and the audience what major and minor effects are. A major effect on a roll is a effect that lasts a long time in a positive way. A minor effect is you gain just a little bit more information, or in combat, you are able to stun, say, stun an enemy for a single round. The benefit doesn't really last that long, but it's still a benefit above the actual succeeding of the roll. So with the 19, you learn that yes, these three are indeed infected by the Nagaina defenders, and they are at an advanced stage of the infection.
Right. I say to uh, Gail, and I'd say to my group, they are also infested. And it's deeply infested.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all.
You mean they're like me? We should bring them with us to try to help them get the cure as well.
That requires talking.
Talking just so happens to be nobody's specialty. So,
Great. I clear my throat a little bit as I look at them, and since they're over by the door we had noticed, I look around for the best path to get to them without getting too close to an egg. And torch out, and with also my rapier out by this point, I slowly make my way towards the three.
Sounds good. So, rapier in one hand, torch in the other. It's not a wide path, but it's a. You can guess that the eggs were moved away to allow for an easier access from the trapdoor to the door.
I want to say that I'm walking behind him. I'm hunked down so that I'm smaller and actually behind him and following behind. Like I'm cowering behind him in presence, just so that I am, following up, being close.
Sounds good. And as the two of you do approach, the one in front, the one carrying the larger axe, looks at you kind of threatening and shouts out at you. Oi! Like I said, don't get close to the door.
Oh, don't worry. And I look them over a moment and I say, how long have you three been guarding the door?
About a couple of months. Used to live in the town Uxfin, but down here it's a lot better.
Who told you to guard the door?
Nobody. It's just my job.
I nod. And I look over my shoulder, first at Gail and Milia, then I look at Leon, and I say, well, my friend there, he's here to make sure that Everything's all right. Do you three need anything? Or are you feeling all right?
We would like you to leave, but your friend can stay. Soon he can join us in guarding the door and the eggs.
Okay. What's on the other side of the door?
If I'm not going to let you pass through the door, I'm not going to tell you what's on the other side.
We just want to make sure that we know that we shouldn't be going through there because of something dangerous to the eggs.
And the man in front appears to be getting more and more aggressive as you keep talking to him. One of the other commoners puts a hand on his shoulder and kind of pulls him back. But you get the sense that they're waiting for you to take another step. The three of them do happen to ready their clubs and the axe.
Guys, we're not going to go through the door unless it's going to be to keep the eggs safe. Understand?
I've said all I need to say. I'd like you to leave now.
Okay there. And I am slowly taking a step back so Leon knows that I'm going to start going backwards, but I don't want to step on him.
I stop him. What are you doing?
Well, see that axe there?
But we need to get through that door.
Yes, but that axe will go through me
We need to
and
get through
you
that door.
at the same
We're
time.
supposed to talk to people and make things better. Go use more words.
I don't think I'm talking to the people anymore.
That doesn't make any sense. Gale's fine.
Right, but I think I'm talking to the snake instead.
Oh. Yeah, everything I read said nothing about that. I look around the room for a moment as I realize our situation. I'm going to allow him to back up. I'm not going to keep him from backing. And I want to look for a pile of eggs that look rather unstable.
Okay. You do manage to see an unstable pile of eggs just past the clearing.
All right. I want to go back over to where everybody else is and let them know what I'm thinking. My character's not good at making decisions. He's good at figuring things out. So he wants to use his magical abilities and slightly tip over the really large pile and have them come crashing down. And see if that causes those guys to freak out and try to save the eggs. That's my thought.
Alright. Are you sharing this thought with the party?
Loudly, no. Quietly, yes. I'm being as quiet as possible, whispering. And if it's hard for them to hear, I'll whisper into their ear.
I'm going to watch Gale's expression on this subject.
Before, what I tell him too is like, remember what happened to me when I touched an egg? Those things came out of the eggs, and look what happened to me. You want that to happen to everyone else? We should try convincing them to let us through. Like, let me try talking to them first.
Okay, try. Go to talky things, and I'm gonna push him in that direction.
All right.
While Gale goes to talking things, I'm gonna ask Leon to fix my glaive.
I will definitely fix the glaive.
Alright, and I walk up to them and I want to activate friendship and persuasion. Do both of those things. So I walk up to them and just ask him, like, hey, is there, by any chance, can I get through that door behind you guys?
There you go.
Sure, so you get the sense that friendship isn't really working on them. Make an intellect roll difficulty 3.
Can you do that since I can't open
Yep,
it?
absolutely. With a difficulty 3, you rolled a 6, so you did not succeed on that. But yeah, you get the sense that friendship isn't working. You are trying to persuade them, however, and as you're talking to them, they seem to respond to you more cordially than they did to nobody. They look at you for a second and say, well, you know what's behind this door, it's the matron. But you have to stay here and help us defend the eggs.
Yeah, I'll totally stay and help you guys with the eggs. Can you just, like, let me see it, though? I want to see the matron.
Not yet.
What do you mean, not yet? What do I have to do to...
We need to make sure you wait a couple of weeks for the defender to work its way into your nervous system.
Oh, okay. Then I leave I say goodbye to them and leave and go back to the group and tell them about all that. So can you hear me? Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright.
Yes.
So I go back to the group and tell them everything that happened with the 3 people, or 3 guys.
How long does it take Leon to fix the glaive in all that time?
He's using hedge magic, if I believe I'm understanding Max correctly. So it
No,
wouldn't take more than...
I'm using power called duct tape.
Fair enough. In which case... Yeah, he has it fixed in under a minute.
No, I'm actually using my hedge magic. I'd like some duct tape.
30 seconds. Yeah. So, yeah, by the time that Gale manages to walk over to the trio, talk to them for a little bit, and walk back, Leon's already fixed the glaive.
Alright. When he returns and tells us that conversation, I go, And I start rubbing my chin as I pace back and forth in a 2-foot spot. And I say, alright, let them know that we will stay here and guard this hole. You go guard the door with them. And just stay there no matter what happens.
What are you going to do?
Guard the hole. And I point up.
Alright, seems fair enough. So, I'm gonna go back over with those guys. See y'all dudes later.
Once he's out of close earshot, I look at Leon.
What are you
Not
doing?
over the eggs. Knock over the eggs.
What?
Use your magic and knock over the eggs over there. The ones we are nowhere near. Then we can get to the door.
Oh.
I think he's a little not all there, since they've got the snakes on them like he does. And from what I understand, they're waiting for him to turn before they will let him see the matron.
Okay. I point at some eggs and use my hedge magic to knock a few of them off.
All right, and at this point in time, I'll have everyone roll initiative. If you have danger sense, you can add 3 to your roll.
I forgot how we do initiative.
So if you open up your character sheet,
Uh-huh.
just going to do this for Gale. Under... I don't believe there's a button for it. Yeah, just type in the chat, roll 1d20. Again, if you have training in initiative or you have danger sense, add a +3.
Okay.
The slash. Okay, so we have Max in at 19. Leon in at 19. Amelia in at 8. Gale in at 12, and nobody in at 18. So the sweet number to beat was 9. 9 ensures that the characters will go before the 3 guards.
Excellent.
So,
Okay.
with Max, Gale, and James all acting before the guards, you can choose the order you wish to go in. And I'm currently in the understanding that Max wants to go first, as he's knocking things over.
Yes.
Sounds good. So, yeah, you point a ways over, kind of out of the way, in such a manner that if the 3 guards were to go towards the eggs, they're not crossing your path, and you topple over some eggs. You do happen to hear some weird sounds as they fall. Not a satisfying crunch, not a bounce, but more of a quick pop and then some slithering sounds. James and, nobody and Gale, you can choose who wants to act next. Gale, you do have a sense that something's going wrong, and that you want to defend the rest of the eggs that exist, but you don't feel compelled to do so outright. If you want to do something else, you can do something else. Just a little nagging thought in the back of your mind.
I want to go after nobody, if that's fine with him.
Alright. I'm actually waiting for the guards to react, so I am, simply because I saw firsthand what happened when people start messing with eggs, I am lowering the torch at a downward angle. It's not touching the ground, but just in case something comes slithering at us, the torch is out front, and I'm just watching that direction as well as the guards.
Sounds good. And Gale, do you want to continue holding until after nobody, or do you want to go before the guards go?
I just want to wait. Like, I don't want to do anything yet. I just want to see what their reaction is to.
Sure. So two of the guards, the two with clubs, go chasing after the eggs, trying to. It was an unstable pile. Not all of the eggs cracked right away, but some of them are threatening to fall over, some of them are rolling on the ground. So the two with clubs are rushing over to those eggs to manage to minimize the damage. The one with the axe, however, sees saw Leon point at the eggs shortly before they fell, and figures out, I don't think this guy's defending the trapdoor. I think this guy's harming the eggs. And so he picks up his axe and starts charging at Leon. And Max, I'm going to have you make a speed defense task at difficulty 3.
So how do I utilize my speed pool to help this roll out? How do I utilize my speed pool to help this roll out?
Absolutely. So just pulling up your character sheet now.
Yeah.
If you want to use effort, you can. You only have one level of effort, however. Levels of effort are spent using 3 points for the first one and 2 for every um, level of effort thereafter. Because you only have one, it's just a solid 3 points of speed pool points
Okay.
expended. You don't have any edge to tie into this number, so your current speed pool at 12 would be reduced to 9,
Mm-hmm.
and instead of a task 3, it would be a task 2 difficulty.
And can I draw my shield to give myself an asset on speed defense?
Have enough time before the raging egg guardian reaches you. So with an asset and using one level of effort, you lower it from a task 3 difficulty down to a task 1.
And would screaming and hiding under my shield help anymore?
I believe that's using your shield as an asset.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair enough. But I am still screaming and hiding under my shield. So
sounds good.
I'm going to roll versus a 1. Dear God, I just need a 3. Yes, I got a 10.
And absolutely, you didn't even need to use that level of effort, but you ended up using it. So as you lift up your shield and you crouch down real low and you're screaming, you crouch down just before he reaches you, and he swings high, swings wide, completely missing you. And with him acting and the other two rushing off to stabilize the eggs, it is now Emilia's turn.
So, can I do a trick? Can I swing my blade to trick him? Or
Yeah.
does that?
Nope,
Or-
absolutely. So I'm just going to pull that up now.
Okay.
It's called Trading Damage for Effect, and I believe. One moment. Attack. Yep, so you can definitely attempt to trip him. So how that works is on page 113 of the NUMENERA core book, if you want to pull that up. If not, I'll just read it out to you.
Just read
Is
it.
after you've made a successful attack, you can reduce the amount of damage you do to add on a special effect. So if the glaive deals 4 damage, if you want to instead deal 3 damage, so reducing your damage by 1, you can hinder or distract your opponent. If you trade 2 damage, you can hit a specific body part. 3 damage, knock back your opponent, move past him, maybe even strike something he's holding. You can trade all 4 points of damage to knock down or trip your opponent as well.
Okay. So I'm going to be rolling to hit.
Absolutely, so that's a task 3 difficulty.
Okay.
Woot, you can do it.
No, I can't.
Alright, so I'll just take this point in time to remind every player that while experience points can be used to purchase character advancement, you can also choose to expend one to re-roll a spent roll.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that.
Absolutely. So I will take 1 experience off your character sheet.
I just did that.
Beautiful. And feel free to re-roll.
Yeah. Can I expend effort this time?
Absolutely. Because a glaive is a medium weapon, it will be using your might pool instead.
So. Okay, 16.
Wonderful.
Didn't have to do it, but... And I will be putting all my points into knocking this guy down and back away from Leon.
Yep, absolutely. As he swings high and wide, his body momentum kind of carrying him past Leon, you find it wise just to do a swooping attack, not hitting his legs with your blade, but instead with the shaft of your glaive, and you manage to just trip him, and he goes tumbling into the clearing, managing to knock over a couple of eggs himself. And just like before, you hear a squelching pop and a little bit of a slithering, squirming movement. But you can't see anything yet. Nobody and Gale, you were holding your actions. If you want to act before the round resets, now's the time.
Did he drop the axe?
He did at this point.
Is that a medium weapon?
It is a medium weapon, so for you without training, it would be slightly more difficult to use. You would have a +1 modifier, which means if I give you a task 3 difficulty, you would actually have to hit a task 4. It does deal 4 points of damage, though.
Yes, but that thing can be dangerous to us, but also useful to us at a later point. So I'm actually going to sheath my rapier, grab the axe, and start moving towards the door, since the guys with the clubs are trying to take care of those eggs.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, you managed to scoop up the axe and make your way towards the door and to Gale. Gale, if you want to act, now's the time. Like I said, you do have that nagging thought in the back of your head going, protect the eggs, protect the eggs. but you're not compelled yet to do anything about it.
What, which one of them is closest to me? Like, one of the guys with the axe or the guys with the clubs?
The tripped guy with the axe would be the closest.
Alright, then. I want to go over to one of the guys with the clubs, like one of them, and I want to try to use the butt of my knife and hit him on the back of the head so I can't kill him, but I can try knocking him out like that. Use back in the head.
Yep, absolutely. So as you make your way over, you're sneaking up behind him, and you just slam the butt of your knife downwards. Make a speed task 2 difficulty. It would normally be a 3, but because they're concentrating on doing something else at the time, they're not really focused on you. You can make it a might roll or a speed roll if you want to use effort. Otherwise, it's just a straight task difficulty 2. And would you like me to roll that for you?
Did we lose him?
I certainly hope not. I will make the roll for him and...
Oh, sorry, you didn't hear me.
Oh,
I
perfect.
said, yeah, do it.
Yep, so I'm going to roll for you at a task 2 difficulty. You don't want to apply any effort here.
Oh, wait, so I want to have this right. So since I have an edge in might, if I apply effort, then I'll just be like, how many points will be gone from that?
You would only be spending 2 points in that case, because your edge would reduce that cost of 3 down to 2.
Yeah, I want to do that then, please.
Sounds good. And just as a reminder, I've made a home rule or a homebrewed rule where normally applying effort to an attack reduces the difficulty by 1 or increases your damage by 3. With my homebrewed rule, it does both at the same time. So your knife, normally dealing 2 points of damage, will now deal 5 if it hits. And it does hit. So yeah, you slam, use all your might, and you slam that hilt of your knife down, and you can tell he's quite stunned. But he's not quite down yet.
Alright. Is it still my turn, or do I?
Now it resets, so it's at the top of the turn order again.
Okay.
With Gale, Nobody, and Leon acting first. Again, you can choose the order you want to act in.
I say we just keep doing it in the same order. So it would be Leon first.
My action that I've got is more reactionary, so I'll just go ahead and do it anyway, or I'll just make my turn anyways. From where I'm at, I want to move. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to hold on the reactionary thing and just do an action. I want to move from where I'm at to over to the door and attempt to see if it's locked or if it needs to be picked, if it's trapped, and stuff like that. I want to examine the door. Hurriedly.
Sure, so yeah, you reach out and you're trying to pull on the door, and it does open quite easily. But as you open the door, a small, or from a small crevice in the wall nearby, a marbled statue of a woman seems to meld out of the wall, or morph out of the wall. She appears to be a life-size statue of a human woman made out of white marble. It's obviously very old. The surface is cracked, and from these cracks, a bluish fluid slowly leaks out.
She
And-
came out of the wall after I opened the door.
Correct.
That's weird. Is she trying to touch me or something?
Not that you can tell, no.
So she's not animated and moving. And is she blocking my way through the doorway?
No.
She's just like to the left or to the right.
Exactly. She is to the left of the door. And I've just
Stop
posted
screaming.
a photo. And I've just posted a photo over the map
I see.
of this lady.
Yeah, you know what? That's weird, and I'm right next to it, and so I'm going to scream and hold my shield up, and I'm going to activate my resonance field. Like,
All
it's
right.
full on right on top of me. I have a moment. I'm going full defensive. And
Yep, absolutely.
what it says is Fate Lines trace over my entire body, and mine are blue as well, emitting faint light. So mine kind of look like little bits of lightning bouncing over my body.
Sounds good to me.
And I'm screaming.
To save our viewers and fellow players, I won't ask you to roleplay that part.
Well, I can. I can just mute the microphone. Everybody can just watch me scream. Sound good?
Sounds good. And while he starts screaming, nobody, it's your turn to act.
All right. I open my mouth to tell him to stop screaming since this woman just stepped out, but she didn't move beyond that. Is she facing him and like staring at him, or
Yes.
She's. Yep. Yeah, you get the sense that she's looking at Leon.
interesting? All right. I take a step forward and just see what she does if I make it look like, or I take a step past him like I'm about to go through the door, and I'm watching her.
Sure. So, yeah, she now glances over at you. And,
Hi.
in the back of your mind, you hear, "So you want to go and see Devola?" And in fact, it is in the back of your mind, but you can barely hear it. It's like the voice isn't there at all.
All right. I just look at her and I go, sure. Yes. Devola. Yes, we would like to see her and talk to her and then leave quickly. Thank you.
Sounds good. And while that's going on, with nobody talking to an apparently moving statue, we'll switch over to Gale. Gale, you've just brought the knife down on one of the club wielding guards. What do you want to do next?
What's the other guard doing, or does he not realize what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, you managed to surprise them. They haven't yet reacted to you. They're focusing on sweeping up the eggs. With you hitting one of the guards, the other guard is picking up the slack as the first guard is trying to regain his composure and recover.
Alright, while the first guard is like recovering, I try hitting him again with the knife. Like,
Sure thing.
while he's on the
Are
ground.
you using effort again?
No, not this time.
Alright, so it's a task difficulty 2. And you're trying to just hit him with a hilt, like not kill him?
Yeah, not kill him, just hit him with the blunt part so he doesn't get...
Sounds good to me. And you swing and miss. You rolled a 3 against a 6. If you want to re-roll, now's the time. Otherwise, we can continue.
I don't want to reroll, but can Bjorn... you said I could use remove for him too. Do I have to do both of those, or just me controlling him count as in my turn for that?
Right. So while Bjorn does act on your turn, he is still in the room above. No one lowered him down, if I remember correctly. You can definitely have him jump down.
Yes.
No, last time we jumped him down. We had him jump down last time, and nobody caught him.
Yeah, he took a point of light damage.
Right, that's right. Yeah, so if you want Bjorn to act now, now's the time.
Yeah, I want Bjorn to act and attack the guy that's on the ground too. Just...
Alright. So it still is a difficulty 2 because he isn't really, or he hasn't had a chance to react yet. And it is a success. Now, when in combat you roll a 17 or 18, you increase the damage by 1 or 2, respectively. And then 19 and 20, you start getting into the minor and major effects. So with Bjorn attacking him, he manages to grab the guard's neck in his jaws and shaking him. The cumulative damage between the knife shaft and the bite manages to knock out the one guard.
So that's just the end of my turn then.
Yep. And as that's going on, the one guard who was previously wielding an axe manages to climb to his feet, but takes his turn to do so. And the other guard is still trying to pick up the eggs, leaving it to Emilia. It's your go.
This time I'm going to try to do a blow to the head. So.
Sounds good to me. So it is a task 3 difficulty.
Task 3, okay. Here's hoping. And again.
Alright, yeah, so you go to swing down your glaive, but as he's standing up, he kind of staggers off to one side, and your blow goes wide.
Mm-hmm.
And that slithering sound gets louder and louder, and Amelia, I'm going to have you make a intellect task for check.
Okay. Task 4, 16.
Alright. So you get the sense that a couple Nagaina defenders are making their way to you, and you do have a speed task 3 difficulty coming up. They're not
Okay.
hidden, so it's not any harder than a 3. But you do have to make 2 separate speed rolls.
Alright. 1. And I'm gonna use my last XP to reroll that last one. Still missed!
Alright, so yeah, as you jump out of the way of one, the other one latches onto your back, dealing 3 points of might damage. And that concludes the second round. The third round comes around with Leon and nobody standing in front of the door and a stone statue of a woman.
Cool. What was the name of the statue mentioned?
Leon
That just
doesn't know.
walked out of my.
It was
I said it outside. Out.
No,
Of.
I'm asking because
Oh,
it says, pick one PC. You discovered that character is somewhat in tune with the datasphere. While within a short range of them, you can hear their thoughts through the channel of the datasphere, as well as connect better to the datasphere. So, if
fair
he
enough.
thinks it in his
So-
head, I hear it too.
Yep. So as nobody kind of focuses in on the name, you hear the name Devola.
Let me write that
In,
down. So I'm
yep.
not Devo.
I just put it in our Discord group chat.
Excellent. All right. I say out loud, yeah, let's go see Devola. I look over and I see that the fight is not going well for them, right? Because they've got a succession of misses. So I want to aid my compatriots. Man, I don't have something that would be... Can I see any of the serpents getting closer to Amelia?
A couple of the serpents are either approaching or passing Emilia. They're no longer really focused in on her
Okay.
as they're crawling towards you.
Oh! Well, that changes everything.
So he starts screaming again.
Yeah. All right.
He's not the only one.
This is actually my round. So my round is, yeah, Devola, let's go. I turn, look at everybody else. Hey, I scream, point at the ground. I turn, point at the statue, and scream. And I point at and I grab you, I shake you, and I point at the ground over there, still screaming. That's my round. Just screaming. Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Because you're just screaming, if you want to take a physical action later on in this round, I will allow it. Just let me know when you want to act.
Okay.
So with that, it goes to either nobody or Gale. You hear Leon just audibly screaming his head off.
I'll go next. All right. We have that moment of talking about Devola, and then he suddenly starts shaking me and pointing, and I turn around and look, and I start swinging the torch at the serpents as they're getting closer to us. not realizing that I'm screaming just as high pitched and as loudly as he is.
Sounds good. And in the back of your mind, and again, if you focus in on any of the words in the back of Leon's mind, you hear, "If you promise not to harm the eggs, I'll take you to her."
Back them off! Back them off!
Alright, and hopping over to
Yeah, you should probably make a
Gale.
negotiation roll there, nobody. See if you can pull that one off, a negotiation through telepathy.
Sounds good.
Yep, she can definitely hear you. Just she speaks telepathically. You do have a couple of different things you can use. You have a fast talk ability, as well as a telepathy implant. You can use your telepathy implant if you want to, but like I said, she already can hear you, and you can understand her.
I am. Hold on. I'm looking at my fast talk real quick.
Certainly. So fast talk basically targets a non-hostile, intelligent creature, and you can convince them to take one reasonable action that doesn't put themselves in harm's way.
All right. I will use that and I will go. Tell them all to back off. We'll, no harm to us, no harm to them. We'll leave the eggs alone. Just get them to back off. And I take a half step back and realizing I'm behind Leon, I raise the torch up. Just as a part of we won't hurt them.
Alright. So I'll get to the statuette in a moment, but first it's Gale.
Alright, so since the last guy is still there, I have the Bjorn, the dog, bite onto his leg, go onto his leg, and while I do that, I try to, once again, hit the guy on the head to knock him unconscious. So, no. Well, death you
Sounds good. So it's now a task 3 difficulty. The other knows that you're around, has had a chance to react, so he'll be better off at defending himself, or at least dodging out of the way. With a knife, it does have a modifier of a -1, so it goes down to a task 2. But am I right in saying that you're just attacking the other guy and Bjorn's attacking him at the same time?
That's what's going on.
Sounds good to me. So, yeah, you managed to swing your knife down, bashing him with the hilt, but Bjorn's bite goes just wide, unfortunately. The man with the club manages to pick up all of the eggs and put them back down in a very neat, very safe and stable pile. And he looks at you blankly, looks at Eumelia blankly, and recognition washes over his face as he looks at Eumelia. But then he starts lumbering over towards Leon and Nobody. The man with the axe, or previously with the axe, again looks at Emilia, that same sense of recognition washes over him, and he will as well start lumbering over towards Nobody and Leon. Emilia, it is your turn. A Nagaina defender, a 2-foot-long snake-like worm, has attached itself onto your back. And you know that whatever you do, you can't quite reach it by reaching your arms around. What do you do?
You're muted.
Still muted.
Sorry about that. I turn around and literally throw myself at the ground.
Alright. I won't have you make a roll for that. But as you land on your back, you do hear a squishing sound. A loud squish and a loud squelch.
Mhm.
But the fangs are still embedded into you. And as you land on your back, it's almost as if the pressure helps push it further and further into your back. And you regain all points of damage into your pools.
Mm-hmm.
And add 1 to either your might or speed edge.
Goody.
Now at the very end, again, we'll hop back to the stone statue. The statue looks at Leon, looks at Nobody, focuses in on what Nobody's telling her, and simply lifts a single hand as that white sticky fluid seems to flow out from her feet. It creates a circle around you, and while the guards stop with the outstretched hands, the Nagaina defenders don't. But they are repelled by that blue sticky fluid, as if they will not cross it. And with that, I think it's a good time to take a quick break. It is 8:20 p.m. EST now. I think a 10-minute break or until 8:30 will be good. And we'll see you back then.
Okay.
There is this thing I love. We should all be loving each other. Fuck them and their banks and their monetary lies. I am just a simple human who wants to live a beautiful life. I don't need no credit, no bailout, no MasterCard. deception. Is that when we will learn the deception? You see, I obey the government every day. I obey the government every day. You see, I obey the government every day. The question is when the government will obey me. I obey the government every day. I obey because it's a wonder war and the constant deception. No lies in the media, with no children anymore. Because I don't want Said when we will learn the deception. You see, I obey the government every day. I obey the government every day. You see, I.
And we're back where Melia has just been infected by an Agina defender, as nobody has sweet-talked statue into defending them from the incoming threats of both future Nagina defenders as well as the two still standing human Nagina guardians. I'm joined back with Robin playing Eumelia,
Hello. Hello.
Max playing Leon,
Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up?
James with Nobody,
How's it going?
and Gale of the Wild, along with his animal
Hello.
companion Bjorn. So where we left off was with the Nobody and Leon kind of cowering behind a stone statue who has raised a hand, stopping the two guardians in their midst, and letting blue sticky fluid out from her body, stopping the Nagana defenders. Eumelia has just been infected, and Gale, along with Bjorn, has just subdued one of the guardians. And as far as the game is concerned, combat at this point is now over, so initiative no longer takes precedence. Each player can move their characters in whatever order they wish.
Well, since they're not, or both the serpents and the humans have stopped coming anywhere closer to us, and he's surrounded by a field, so I can't grab him. I am backing slowly towards the door, and I will actually look back to make sure I don't get jumped by a serpent from behind.
Alright, yeah, no, as you look back into the hallway behind you, you don't really see anything. It just extends for an indiscriminate amount of distance.
I don't think, and I'm speaking toward Nobody. I don't think Amelia's okay.
Amelia is very definitely not okay. Kind of like almost clawing at her forearm. And if you look at her eyes, her pupils are expanding and contracting. And she's got cat's eyes. This is very noticeable. Like, she is very much not a happy individual.
For once, I'm at a loss for words.
Alright. Like I've told you guys before, the door behind the statue, leading off into the underground cavern system, is open and is largely protected, being the two guardians aren't pursuing you and the Nagina defenders can't reach you.
Amelia, come this way.
As she comes closer, you can see she's tremoring.
Gale, let's go.
Mic check.
So I was trying to get fixed. So I'm good now. Can you? What happened now? I got it.
We're leaving.
All right. I follow them behind while the guys are. Follow them through the door.
Sounds good to me. So as the four of you make your way through the door, the passageway illuminated by your torches and glow globes, the statue is leading you through the underground ruin system. Now, in games like Dragons, you go from room to room and you explain what is in every single room. In Numenera, however, in order to expedite the process of traveling through a largely empty ruin or fortress system, we roll on what's called a progress table, and each roll accounts for 1 full hour. And as you progress through this system, it becomes easier and easier to find the end. But we just roll a 1d100, and whatever value on the table is rolled, somewhere within that 1 hour, you stumble upon a description in it. So I will ask for James to make the first roll, just 1d100 plus 20, because Lily is leading you.
46.
Nice.
46. All right, and I'll actually have you roll another 1d100.
One.
All right. So yeah, in the first hour of the statue leading you through this underground ruin system, you stumble upon a corpse of a mysterious creature. And Emilia, you can tell this creature's recently died.
Can I tell what killed it?
I'll give you 3 guesses.
Yeah.
And the first 2 don't count.
Probably.
Your character can speak to the dead if you wish. It is one of your foci abilities.
Yeah. Sit down and just start pull up my aloes, play a little tune.
Certainly.
Concentrate on what killed you.
So for Speaker of the Dead, you can ask one simple question, and the creature needs to be able to understand you and needs to be able to respond. The creature does understand you, but you get this sense in your mental eye that it's pointing back through the door you just came from.
That's probably all I need to know. I just sort of gently reach and rest the hand on its head, try to reassure it. Then stand up, shake myself, put my aloes away, and go back to kind of stabbing myself with my fingernails.
Absolutely. So, Robin, I will have you make another roll on the progress table. So it's a 1d100, because 1 hour is already passed. You can add 40 to this roll.
Okay. 138.
138. All right, and out of curiosity, who's leading the group behind behind the statue?
Not it.
I suppose I will do it since I'm the one she's talking to.
All right.
Torch is held high, so we can, at least me and Leon can see better. I don't know what augments those two have gotten from their
Sure.
friends.
And who's in the very back?
Yes, that's me. You one next to me.
All right. So with Emilia and Leon in the middle of the group.
Mhm.
Leon, I'm going to have you make a speed task 4 difficulty. It's a speed defense roll. So your shield, if you still have it out, does give you an asset.
I would assume I still have it out. And if a minute hasn't passed, my resonant field is still up.
Like I said, it has. However, because you do have one intellect edge, so your resonant field is essentially free for your character.
Okay.
If you wish to continually apply it as you go along, you can do so. Absolutely.
I probably would have that up as well, considering we're following a statue. I'm not very sure or comfortable, and I'm a bit of a coward.
Sure. So yeah, out of combat, I'll assume it's a free action. So yep, you have your resonant field out. You have your shield out. So it's a task 3 difficulty. But with the resonant field, it is an intellect defense.
Okay.
So if you want to use a level of effort to assist you with this, you can,
Yeah.
and it will come off of your intellect. So it's now a task 2 difficulty.
Okay. Nope. I'll spend an experience point to reroll.
Sounds good.
And I'll spend
Oh
intellect.
no, sorry,
What?
you rolled 1. So
Damn
with
it.
rolls of 1, you can't re-roll. It is a GM intrusion.
No.
As a quick reminder, or quick notice to all of our viewers, a GM intrusion is either handed out by a GM for 2 experience points, or occurs on a roll of 1. It's just a way that I can shape the story or add a plot twist to the story. So the floor begins to collapse and give way under your feet. You're sure that it came about because the statue trampling along on top of it knocked away a few loose stones, and I'm sure nobody stepping on it didn't really help either. But as the loose floor gives way, you fall down about 15 feet into a pit, and you do take 4 points of might damage as you are stuck, trapped underneath a few pieces of floor tile, or rather the granite slab that runs across the floor.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have rope. I can't levitate or fly. I'm shitty at climbing, so I'm kind of stuck here.
And I'm pretty sure I realize something's going wrong when I hear rumbling and then screaming.
And the screaming gets farther and farther away. And a bit echoey.
Yep, absolutely. And because you all have torches or glow globes, the surrounding area is very well lit, so it's not like if you turn around and take a look, you won't see anything going wrong.
Alright, I turn around and I look at Milia and Gale, and then I just look down. Oh, crap. And I will carefully go to the edge of the hole and shine the torch down there, hoping I can see him.
And you definitely do see him. Like I said, though, his left leg is trapped underneath part of the stone floor. He appears bruised up, but no broken bones or not bleeding profusely.
How far down is he?
About 15 feet. It isn't a straight drop, however, because there are slabs from the stone floor. You could quite easily climb down into the hole.
Okay. I will hand off my torch, and I stop and I look at the statue. Hold that thought a moment. And I am going to go save my conscience. I will carefully climb down and start examining things, and I will try and see if I can, like, not necessarily pick it up, but lean it up enough that he can pull his leg out.
Absolutely. So roll a 1d6 for me, please.
Three.
All right. So yeah, as you struggle to lift up the slab of rock or lean it off to one side, kind of relieving the pressure off of Leon, it does take you a while, and for the next 30 minutes, the two of you are down in the hole trying to get Leon out. By the time the 30 minutes is up, though, you and Leon are back up at the regular tunnel level and dusting off Leon.
I thought I was going to die down there. Thanks for coming to get me.
Well, if I didn't come to get you, who would nag me into treating people fairly?
I thought you hated that.
I do, but I've gotten used to it, and I think the quiet would annoy me even more.
Oh. Yeah. I start brushing myself off, realizing that we're having like some sort of extra connective moment, and I'm like, we should probably get going. I looked at the big blue statue.
Sounds good. And with that, I'm going to offer a gym intrusion to Emilia.
Okay.
So you can either refuse it and spend 1 experience in doing so, or you can accept it, gain 1 experience, and give another experience to another player.
I'll accept it. And pass it on to James for that bit helping. For helping his conscience out of the hole.
Alright, so both Emilia and nobody gain 1 experience. as you are standing and waiting for nobody to help Leon out of the hole, you just feel a complete body convulsion overtake you. You start spasming out a tiny bit, and you feel the need to get to the Nagaina matron faster than what you had normally thought.
I start hyperventilating, and just as soon as the spasms, even when the spasms over, I'm still like trembling, even more than I had been previous. I think we need to. I think we need to go. And if Leon is needing help, I start helping him as a way to ground myself.
Absolutely. So with that, I will have Max roll a 1d100. The previous edition was plus 40, so now with the statue's help, it is a 1d100 plus 60.
The dice roller really wants us to play Alternity tonight.
Absolutely. So just really quickly roll another 1d100, as you did roll a strange feature. $19. So within the next hour, the party's been now traveling through this underground ruin system for 3.5 hours now. But in this next hour, you come across a room with scattered gray carbon sheets covered with unintelligible writing and drawings of unknown machines and creatures. And if you guys want to take a moment to examine them, feel free. Otherwise, I will ask Gale to roll a 1d100 plus 80.
Do we want to hang out here for a moment and let me do some looking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might actually bring Amelia out of her jitters for a bit. A few minutes.
Plus, it's a puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
I like puzzles.
That's always fun.
Absolutely. So like I said, they are scattered gray carbon sheets covered with weird writing and diagrams of machines and creatures. How would you like to examine them?
I am make an intelligence check. I have knowledge of Numenera, and maybe that will help. Also,
Yep.
I can do a knowledge tap, which is an ability of mine, which allows me to access the data spheres and learn a bit about something I can see. You get asset on the task involving that person or object, so it's an action.
Yep, absolutely. So you take a look at these gray carbon sheets, and as you pick them up, you can tell they're extremely, extremely thin. Make your knowledge Numenera check, and I'll keep that asset in mind.
Okay. I'm trained. What's the step above trained? Specialized. I'm
Specialized, yep.
Numenera.
So I'll keep that in mind as well.
Just gonna roll it.
Or in fact, if you just want to roll 1d20 plus 9.
Just gonna roll a d20.
Sounds good. So, yeah, no, you pick up the sheet and re- you're not really reading out what you can see, but you're explaining your thought process behind what's on the sheet as you try to identify it. And you see this large, uh, large quadruped kind of looming up over a snowy field, and it looks like it is breathing shots of red energy out at like this snow-covered house. And underneath this large quadruped, which you can tell is meant to be something like 20 stories tall or 15 stories tall,
Jesus.
you can see white men running around with what looks like uh, sticks in their hands, and some of the sticks are again uh, shooting out this red blasts of energy. And underneath it, you can see some writing, large text on top, and then as it goes down, it gets progressively smaller. That's on one of the carbon sheets. On another one, you see a large black helmet with a mouthpiece and black eyes. It's completely black. Uh, but you get kind of the side profile of him, as well as a couple humans, what looks like humans, dressed in weird garb. One's holding a stick that's glowing blue, and again across the bottom, the exact same letters or writing across the bottom, and it goes on and on and on for these 5 drawings with the same lettering underneath. You get the sense that one of the creatures looks kind of like a bear, but it's standing up like a bear and a dog, with a large belt across his chest. It's just this really strange and bizarre uh, piece of paper, essentially. Because yeah, you are able to tell that this piece of carbon is in fact paper.
Piece of carbon paper.
Absolutely.
I express the information that I've learned about the monsters in question, the details that I know, and I let them know that. Excuse me. I just let them know the details I picked up. But I don't think that this is beneficial to us. There's a good possibility that this might be related to the matron. Might not. We'll keep it in mind. Can I stick these extra carbon pages into, let's see what I have, a book about Numenera?
Yep, absolutely.
And I will fold them up and I'll take them with us.
Sounds good to me. So with that, Gale, I will have you roll a 1d100 plus 80.
And I got the website working, so a minute.
Alright. I can roll for you if you want me to.
Yeah, just go ahead and do that then. It's fine.
Alright, with a roll of 127. So now you're in hour 4.5 walking through this underground runic system, and you come across a built-in into the wall a control panel next to a machine of some kind. Leon, you get the sense that you can't get it working again. But it might have valuable parts.
Then, gosh, I guess we could tear it apart then. I don't have the tools to do so.
I have some tools. Not all of them are specifically for picking locks.
Yeah. All right, let's tear the machine apart. See if we can find anything valuable.
All right. So yeah, you manage to start to tear apart the machine.
Mm-hmm.
You do happen to come across 15 shins. So in this game, shins is currency, similar to copper or gold in D&D, or USD or CAD for US and Canadian currency.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free to split that up how you wish, as well as a cipher.
A cipher?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's mine.
If you take the cipher, you shouldn't get any of the money.
But I need money to pay back my bills.
But you
Tell you
have
what.
a cipher to do that.
Tell you what. We'll do it this way. If you want the cipher so much, 3 shen for you, 4 for each of us. Sound fair?
No.
How about I'll take the cipher and you can have my share of the money.
But you don't even know what the cipher does. I can tell
So?
you. I can tell you.
I don't know. I just want it. I like.
Tell you what. Until we figure out what the cipher does and who it will benefit the most, why don't I just hold on to the money right now? And then we'll split it up, and whoever gets the cipher doesn't get any of the money.
That sounds fair.
I guess.
All right. And as you're handling the cipher, which Leon correctly identified as a cipher, it's a pair of gloves. As you're handling this pair of gloves, a weird octagonal-shaped amulet falls from within it, and the amulet itself is glowing blue.
Do the gloves and the amulet appear to be part of the same cipher or two separate ciphers?
You don't really get a sense that the amulet itself is a cipher.
Then I toss it away.
Take it. No, I take it before he does. Or I want the necklace.
I'll
take it when we through it.
The oddity.
Cool.
And so, have you decided who's keeping the cipher?
What do they do?
Tell us, Leon. What...
Do I need to make a roll to identify the cipher's function?
Nope, I will just clue you in. This cipher is if you want to open up the Numenera core book. It's on page 282. It is adhesion clamps. So they're a pair of gloves with a couple of very powerful suction cups where the palms are. And they help you climb any surface, even horizontal ones. And you get the sense that it'll last for about 20 minutes.
I expressed that they're climbing gloves.
Are you telling the truth?
I will wave them over to Amelia.
I look at them and say, yeah, I've got a pair like these.
So you swear on nobody's life that they're not climbing, or they're just climbing gloves?
Yeah.
You really don't want your share of the money, do you?
Anyway,
So, and I look down at the ground, having missed the fact that Gale had swept up the amulet, and I say, "So, what happened to that glowing thing?"
since none of y'all wanted it, I took it. So, your trash is my treasure.
Okay.
I can't, I didn't, these are no good for me. And I'm, like, waving the gloves around.
I'll take them.
Does that mean I get your share of the money?
Well, since the agreement was whoever gets the gloves doesn't get a share of the money, everyone's getting 5 shen. Except for me.
I guess I'm nodding like, oh, okay, that sounds good.
I will pass out 5 shen to each of the 3 of them, and I will take the gloves.
Alright, sounds good to me. So I've just really quickly, with all 4 of you rolling, rolled for the rest of the progress. So the first roll, that was our 3.5. The next roll, rolled lost. So you start wandering around and you don't really see anything of note. You get the sense you're walking around in circles, and it does take a couple of hours in order to get the statue back on path. So that takes, all in all, 2.5 hours.
She was giving us the 5 shen tour.
Absolutely. Yeah, you didn't tip your tour guide. With the second roll, a roll of 195, you do manage to come across Devola's lair. So the statue kind of points at a door in the distance, a door that is adorned with snake-like creatures, or carvings of snake-like creatures. And nobody, in the back of your mind, and again also Leon, you hear the voice, Devola.
Why, thank you, lovely lady. And I turn around so my back is to her, and I'm going, I never thought I would say that to a statue.
I turn and take notice of the other two, Gale and Amelia, and how are you two holding up?
Good for the most part. Just exhausted. Should we take a break here? Go to the door.
I mean, we can afford it.
Sure, so as far as breaks are concerned, NUMENERA uses what's called a recovery system. So within that system, if you go onto your character sheets and scroll down to just below your pools, you should see your recovery rolls. 1 action, 10 minutes, 1 hour, and 10 hours. As well as a button that says 1d6 plus 1. As you are all tier 1, your bonus to recovery rolls is only a +1. If you want to take your first recovery roll of the day, it only takes 1 action, or about 6 seconds. Whatever points you regain, you can put that all into one pool, or you can split that up. And your second recovery roll of the day will take 10 minutes. and so on and so forth until you've used up all of your recovery rolls.
Since we have reached the entrance to the matron's room, I will take a moment for a recovery roll. But since it is the same day, I'm doing my second roll, so I'm going to be taking 10 minutes.
I only need to take an action, and I'm going to do that.
Sounds good. And Max with a roll of 6 plus 1 equals 7. Beautiful. You're already putting the points back in. And similarly, since nobody is spending 10 minutes, if the other players want to spend 1 or 2 recovery rolls up to the 10-minute mark, they can do so without really holding anyone up. Because as a group, I would assume you're waiting for nobody to finish recovering.
Yeah.
So if you're using a 10-minute roll, it's just one roll still, right? Or
So the first roll would be one action. Haven't used one yet. You're using the one action roll. And then if you want to use the 10-minute as well, your party's already waiting for 10 minutes. So you're not holding up the party.
all right. So I'm just gonna do the one action one. What do I roll for? Like, what number do I roll for that? Just
All right. So above your recovery rolls with all of the checkboxes, you can just press the 1d6 plus 1 button. And you have 5 extra points. It looks like you've only spent 2 of your might points, and you don't have any other points missing, so you're completely healed up. But the extra 3 points are not usable at all.
all right.
Alright, and Melia, I would assume you're not making a recovery roll?
Nope.
Sounds good.
She's on guard duty.
Absolutely. So just before we go into the room, I'm going to take a very quick break just to look over some short notes and to grab a new drink. And I'll meet you back in 2 minutes' time.
If there is such thing as love, we should all be loving each other. Fuck them and their backs and their monetary lies. I am just a simple
All right, and welcome back. Uh, our party has just navigated successfully the underground ruin system below the town of Uxfan, built into the mountains, with Melia and Gale both desperately seeking a way to rid their bodies of this Nagai within them. They know the only way to remove it while keeping their life uh, is through the Nagaina matron, who, according to the statue, is just beyond the door in front of them. So the party reaches the door. The door seems unlocked and untrapped. Feel free to proceed.
You said the door was stuck?
No.
Was unlocked and not trapped, from what the party can see.
Why not? I will open it up. I will give a soft knock, open the door, and I will step in.
I mean, we are here to be nice about this, aren't we?
Mm.
Hey, remove your symbiotes. Please.
Absolutely. So as you open the door, you see a metal catwalk, and it's slightly tilted, but it appears safe. The walkway runs along the wall to the right for about 30 paces, and then turns left, suspended above a drop into the darkness. And even with the bright glow globes, you can't see the bottom. The sound of thrumming generators rises from the depths, accompanied by moist heat. The expands the distance toward or over a glistening metal cylinder that rises up from below. Few bluish lights illuminate parts of the cylinder, suggesting that it is perhaps 120 feet in diameter. Where the catwalk connects to the cylinder, another black doorway beckons.
All right. Since it tilts to the left, I'm going to switch my torch to my left hand. And I'm assuming there are rails on either side of the catwalk.
The catwalk itself uh, is actually, yes, there are rails. However, the one on the left appear damaged. Not safe to support yourself, but the catwalk itself seems like it would definitely support the four of you, as well as Bjorn, Gale's Susky companion.
I will start making my way across slowly, just holding on to the right railing. And every now and then, about every 3 to 5 feet, just giving a slight bounce. I'm not full on jumping up and down. I'm just kind of shifting my weight enough to make sure that it's okay. And when I get to about the middle, I look at the others and I go, all right, let's go ahead and cross one at a time. That way we're not putting too much weight on it.
Okay.
Or at least have enough distance between us that if one falls, the rest are not caught up.
What makes you think we're gonna fall? I thought you just. What? What?
I just give him this big smile and turn around, and I straighten up and start walking more calmly, more confidently.
All right. Yep, no, so the four of you make your, I'm assuming all four, make your way across the catwalk, and in very little time, you make your way to the black door connected to the metal cylinder at the other end.
I want to be sensing for magic.
Sure. So you don't get the sense that anything magical per se is going on. You can detect a few pieces of Numenera, but they're more along the lines of smaller ciphers. Per se, there's no ongoing magical effects.
Okay. Check the door to make sure it's safe.
And how do you want to do that?
Look for any type of detectors or sensors along the edge of the door to indicate the door's been opened or that it is opening. Stuff like that, as well as safety mechanisms and traps.
I'll help with checking for traps as well.
Absolutely. So with that asset,
Can I add expert helper too?
sure.
Right.
So make an intelligence roll. Difficulty normally 4, now difficulty 2.
19.
Alright. Yeah, you get the sense the door is not trapped in the slightest.
Will opening the door send a message to anyone, like
Will it send a message? Not that you can tell. No.
Okay.
No, it's just a standard unguarded door with loud machinery on the other side of it, as well as the machinery around you resonating in this chamber.
Okay. I feel it's safe to open. Check to see if it's locked.
Not locked at all. So yeah, you open it, and facing you is a large snake-like creature with it's about 70 feet long, the mouth surrounded by tentacles around 15 feet, and most of them have been adapted to be able to hold cybernetic or bioengineered tools or weapons.
Gale, you're up.
That's it.
I'll do it. I'll talk. Okay. Since I have or the thing in the back, I want to see if like I can talk to it, since the guys at the door were.
It's
Different
not a man or a woman that I recognize, so yep, not my purview.
I'll try. I'll try. So you got it.
Absolutely. So I have shared a photo on the Roll20 map. If you want to take a look, just to frame or for reference.
Okay.
All right. So as you step forward through the door, you're immediately sprayed with a very fine mist. But it doesn't really seem to affect you at all. Devola, the Nagaina matron, kind of stops what she's doing. Her back was turned to you. She was fiddling with some instruments in her workshop, and kind of looks over at you. and with a very hoarse voice that kind of sounds like a slimy tendril against the back of your neck, she starts speaking a language that you don't understand. And then she changes to another language that again you don't understand, and she goes through a couple different languages like this before finally settling on a language that is commonly used in this setting. And she says, "Why are you here? I've spoken to your kind before."
We're here to be cured. Is there a possibility we can do that here?
But why would I cure you?
Because we could do something for you. We could help you out with something. We'll offer you something. Just name it.
I see, I see.
What was her expression when he said cured?
The expression, from what you could tell, was more along the lines of morbid curiosity, along with a slight little devilish glint in her eye.
Oh boy.
Now, this is the giant serpent we're talking about, correct?
Looks
Absolutely.
more like a worm.
Okay. All right. Listening to his wording, I recover for a moment and I look at him and I go, this isn't one of your animals. And I finally step forward and I look up at her, and in my head, Leon's going to hear, oh, crap. And I finally go, all right, he doesn't mean cured. By mistake, my two companions attached themselves to one of your children, and they would like to be released from that service to freely offer our assistance in some other way that benefits all of us, like living longer than. And I look at Leon going, 28 days?
Yeah, 28's the number it uses. Yeah.
Yes, the time allotted, because apparently your children don't agree with our kind in the long term.
So just first things first, as you're speaking to Devola, have you also walked through the door?
Yes.
Alright, so again, as you walk through the door, that same very fine white mist kind of sprays over your body. Again, it doesn't really affect you. But as you start going on your little spiel or your explanation or attempt at persuasion, Devola doesn't look at you. She doesn't so much give you a glance. She keeps her focus maintained on Gale. And as Emilia also enters the room with the white mist enveloping her body as well, she also shifts her attention over to Emilia.
Oh. These misters, I'm assuming they surround the door.
I see.
So these misters are like around the door constantly spraying, or only spraying when somebody enters?
Only spraying when someone enters.
Look for the little infrared beam indicator thing that goes off as somebody steps through.
Sure. Make a quick roll. intellect. Your NUMENERA specialization does come into play. Was a task 5, now it's a task 3.
I'm gonna pull some from my pool because I really want to find this thing. So, and I've been rolling shitty tonight. So yeah.
We all have.
Alright, with a roll of 19, it is minor effect. You manage to
Oh, I haven't rolled
see,
yet. That's not my roll yet. Hang on. That was my last roll of 19 to check the door.
Fair enough. So it's a task 2 difficulty with your level of effort. With a 16, yeah, you definitely see this small little indicator. It seems to be built into the door itself, the door frame, just on the other side of it. And you can also see the 2 jets kind of pointing in towards the door from either side.
I want to put my finger over the sensor, but stay out of the doorway.
Sure. And the white mist envelops the doorway.
I do it like 3 or 4 times. See how quickly it responds.
Almost instantaneously.
I put a piece of tape over the sensor.
Runs continuously.
I'm stepping back now. Like, oops. I'm letting them have. I'm done. I'm done for now. I'll let them continue their conversation. Whatever. I'm messing with the worm's door. Sorry. Not sorry.
Sure. Feel free to scan the area or to do a knowledge tap to figure out what the heck the white mist is, but otherwise, yeah, we can definitely consider the conversation.
All right. So
All
I
right.
scan roll.
Yep. So as you scan it, you get the sense that it is just like a disinfectant.
Okay.
Really. Yeah, an antiviral disinfectant.
So because I also have machine interface, it allows me to interface to discern the level, function, activation of a Numenera device that you are touching by
Yep.
1 step for 1 minute. That would apply here?
Yeah, so the level of the device is a level 3
Okay.
device. If you want to choose to try and disable it, you can. Keeping in mind Vola is awake and aware just beyond the door.
Yeah, I'm going to... If by my intelligence I determine that it's a disinfectant, I will pull the tape off and step through.
Sounds good to me. So through the door you see Devola, the Nagaina matron, shifting her attention between Gale and Eumelia.
This is disconcerting to my character. He's never been ignored like this before.
In essence, she just keeps looking back, or it keeps looking back and forth. I say, do you need something? To her?
Gail, tell her you would like to have her children removed, but we are going to offer the ability to do something in return that will benefit all of us.
How about we offer all of Leon's money?
I can't do that.
Alright then. I repeat what nobody said back to the matron. And,
Sure. So So she kind of looks and focuses in on Gale as he's saying, I want the defender in my back removed, and I'm willing to do something for you to have that happen. And Devola rears back her head for a second and just begins thinking, before stooping down and lowering her head to just mere inches away from Gale, the tentacles out of her head, kind of brushing him over and feeling his skin and clothing for a second.
I am no longer next to Gale.
And with that same low, raspy voice, she says, her breath hot on Gale's body. Well, there is one thing you can do for me. Have you ever heard of the Insidious Choir?
No, I haven't. What is that? Can you tell us?
Well, yes. See, it's a collective, intelligent species that is made up of countless individual virants and operates as a single being. Its only interest is in being in control of everything it finds. And the components can only communicate with each other while in the same body. I need you to rid the world of its communication device. Because they can only talk while in the same body, there has to be a technological transmitting device that allows all the virons in all the bodies they infect to communicate over what might be a limitless distance.
Why do you want us to take these or take down their communications? Or how does that benefit you?
She pulls her head back up and lets out a loud chortle, or a laugh, that sounds more animalistic than anything else. Facing back to Gale with a devious grin, she says, "You fool! The Insidious Choir will not stop until it has infected everything. It won't stop at mere humans or animals. They will infect the very earth. And they will infect my children and myself as well. Can you not see how I would want that stopped?"
I understand. Can you tell us where to start, where to go to find?
Well, I can, absolutely, but it's not just the Insidious Choir that needs stopping. You need tools in order to do this. You need a special substance called garolin, and you need at least one dose for yourself and your friend over there, your female friend, in order to cut away the Nagaina defender. You also need a tool called the Impossible Blade. That knife is what's used to inject the the garolin into the body to eject the defender. The transmitter itself is on top of a strange open tower, in a field of towers. This field is quite distant, on the other side of the mountains, but the tunnels lead there from here. And in fact, a means of ancient conveyance will make the journey much faster and safer, if you can figure out how to free it from its shackles.
Oh boy, this sounds dangerous.
I go over and ask Leon about you're an expert on all this strange stuff. You have any idea?
Hold on. She wants us to stop someone from infecting everybody when her kids are. And when I realize that she's staring in our general direction now, I kind of stop. Yeah. So, where is all this stuff? This Garolin and the Impossible Blade. She won't talk to me. Go, Gil. Go on. Go on.
So I go back up to her and ask her, where can we find all this stuff to reluctantly go up to her.
Alright, so you take another step forward towards her, and you're asking where you can find the Garolin
And the hidden
Impossible
blade. Or impossible blade, yeah.
Right. Devola looks at you and says, well, the Garolin. Gonna have to rename that.
Yes.
Is found in a deep sea thermal vent created by creatures called Celosia. If you travel to the city of Harmuth and find Cajun Rilid, they will tell you where to go next and how to get down into these deep sea thermal vents. As for the Impossible Blade, I don't know exactly where it is. However, inquiring in Uxvan might be a good start.
Thank you for helping us with all this. And I go back to the group and tell them where we can find it and what they think we should do first.
You can ask.
Uxvan?
Yeah, but you can also ask her that to make sure her guards and kids outside don't infect us along the way.
They are all her children.
We understand that, but if we fail, two of us don't want to.
Alright, so why should I tell her now? And you see, you're being a bit rude, man. So why don't we, us two,
She won't
just go through and get all this stuff, and you guys can wait here with her.
I've never had a woman ignore me, and I love her and
She's not talking to you, man. Just, you know what I should do? I should go tell her that you insulted her, and we'll see how she feels about that.
No. Why don't we just like cut our losses and like not cause any more problems?
What are you suggesting? You and I go out there and find some snakes for ourselves?
No.
I think that would be a great idea. Think about it. You can be stronger like I am.
Have you heard that voice?
Yeah, better than yours. for what do you guys want to do though?
Devola at this point looks over the four of you, is listening into the conversation, but doesn't really care to pay much attention to it. But rest be assured, she can hear every single thing that each of you are saying.
Yeah, and I'm bouncing
Looking,
between Gale, Milia, and Devola as I'm talking.
a bored look kind of washes over her face, and she says, "If you want me to, I can give you an injection, which helps your body prevent becoming infected by the insidious choir. Otherwise, you know what you have to do. You know when you have to do it by. You may as well leave me to my experiments." And she turns her back and continues fiddling in her workshop.
Uh,
An injection sounds good.
I'm gonna be a bold one and say, yeah, I'll take one.
yeah. Amelia goes, oh, what else? It's less permanent than jump, which is what she was thinking about doing.
All right. Yep. So as she hears a resounding yes from both Gale and Amelia, she turns around, lowers her face again, extremely close, like in between the two of them, and a tentacle coming out from roughly around her neck shoots out and just stabs either one of them in the arm. And you can see a thick, dark red liquid being shot out of the tentacle into the arm, and it leaves a similarly dark red welt. Uh,
I hold on to Leon as I push him forward.
and as
Amelia grabs nobody and hauls him forward.
and as you take the injection, you do get 1 point of might damage, as it is quite painful.
She's only injecting those people who have the serpents, correct? She's only injecting the people who have the serpents in them, correct?
She would inject anyone.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot to
Yeah.
ask earlier too, but whenever we rested, did Bjorn gain his health back too? Or since I rolled?
Yep, Bjorn's back to full health.
Alright, and can I have the matron inject him too? Or how would
Sure.
that?
Yep.
Cool.
So Bjorn lets out a quick yelp. Clearly, he's not okay with it being stabbed by the tentacle, nor having this fluid pumped into him. And he does take 1 point of damage.
Alright, I soothe him so he's like calm after that.
I do have one question, madam. Is it possible that even though we do not have your children attached to us, and I motion to both me and Leon, that your guards outside would allow us passage back and forth so we can inform you of our progress? Instead of us having to resort to distraction methods like before.
The matron looks over at you again with a bored expression and says, "As long as you don't break any of my eggs, neither my children nor my guards will attack you."
I promise. And my finger crosses over Leon's heart.
All right. And did Leon or nobody wish for the inoculation?
I pushed him forward. I was with him, so I did take the inoculation. I forced him into taking one.
All right. Yeah, and so just like The other two were injected. 2 more tentacles shoot out, stab into your arms, pumping this dark red fluid in, leaving a large welt and dealing 1 point of damage.
Wait, I ask. Wait, does anyone have like any bottles or anything, or things to hold stuff?
Oh, vials.
Vials, yeah.
I don't have any empty containers on me, no.
Is there one you can empty out? Because what if we can get the fluid from the matron, and we can have Leon study it? We probably should have done that beforehand, but
Hearing you say this out loud, Nagaina looks at you, turns her back, and over her serpentine body, you can just hear her voice go, "I've already given you a gift. Now get out before I change my mind."
I quickly leave with Bjorn.
I let Leon go, and I offer the deepest of bows, and I say, "Thank you, my queen." And I hightail it out of there. Ahead of Leon.
All right.
Robin, did you have something to say?
No, I just after Leon leaves, I kind of give a bail look back at the matron and walk out.
When I leave, I make sure to walk up and touch the sensor so that the disinfecting spray goes off, and I make sure it sprays the stab mark area well, because it's a disinfectant. I just got stabbed. This is good stuff. Is there any way to remove the tanks or, like, take some with me?
Built into the wall. I mean, you probably could remove the tanks themselves, but you have to, like I said, break open the wall.
Oh, well, I tried. I do the same effect of cleaning the wound, and I point it out to Amelia as I'm doing it. Like, you should do this too.
I humor him and then start hauling him out, where he starts thinking about breaking down to get the tanks.
All right. And with that, the large black door slams shut behind you. The party is on the walkway, and the door just beyond remains open, with the statue standing motionless, visible on the other side. I think this is a good time to end the session, as it is getting quite late. My name is Evan, and I've been your game master for today. And I've been joined with the wonderful Max playing Leon,
Hello.
as well as James playing Nobody,
Hello.
Robin playing Melia,
Hello.
and Gale of the Wild.
Yes.
And perhaps he's gone back to the wild.
Probably so.
Yeah. I think he forgot his
My
mic.
mic was muted. Hello.
There we go. So yep, I'm Evan. This has been a session of The Devil's Spine as a part of a production for the OBS.
Ooh.
Have a great night, and I think before we go, Max wanted to shout out some announcements.
This coming up Saturday, we will be doing an episode of Star Wars. This is the 8th episode in the series for the characters' backgrounds. Tune in, pay attention to our social media for updates and information. On Sunday, we have a Deadlands game going on, and keep a lookout for that as well. Keep a lookout on our Original Box Set website for any changes to our calendar, as well as looking for our calendar. Let me put a link up to that here. Copy. Oh, there we go. Paste. You can find our information there, as well as our social media information. Come hang out with us. And that is pretty much it. Yeah, that's all the announcements that we got for tonight. I appreciate everybody joining. It was fun. Yeah. All right, Evan, send us off.
All right. I'm Evan, and have a great night.